think we should be live soon.
Sweet.
Yard waiver ripper covered.
Yep.
All right. Actually, I could have just checked while I still had this thing open.
Yeah, I just closed it.
Whatever. Okay, I think we're live. What's up, everyone? With me here is Scotty.
Hey, what's up, Ponk?
I guess we should just get started and explain the rest on the way, right?
Yeah, if you want to count down, I'll start the timer and...
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Good luck.
Good luck, man.
This is the one of many Super Metroid item randomizers. This is the one we used in the Super Metroid item randomizer tournament, which ended like 1.5 months ago, I think. Like, it's only been one.
Seemed like it lasted forever, but I enjoyed it.
You both did pretty well, if I may say so. Scotty here finished, I think, like 6th place in the tournament.
5th place.
Right. Scotty went 5th place in the tournament, won the prediction competition. In the prediction competition and got 2nd in the tournament as well. So I guess we might be considered pretty decent at this. Randomizer does, unlike other randomizers, it doesn't like mix up every single one of the 100 items in the game. It actually only shuffles items in a pool. Major items, which are E-tanks, reserve tanks, and all items you can see on the pause screen, are shuffled in one pool, with the exception of one E-tank in the game and one super missile pack in the game being swapped. And all miners are randomized. Well, they're not randomized, they're just in one pool, and there's like a certain ratio. It's missiles, 3 parts, supers, and 1 part power bombs. Pretty rare. What you could have probably just seen on both screens is that we have to do a damage boost up to the ceiling to get the small spell item, which is usually at a different location. That's the only way to get this item, or the only fast way to do so. So right now we both have an E-tank and both have a reserve tank and both have a mothball. That's everything I can assume. Here on this game, it's pretty far open. Early power bombs, which means that we can do one of 2 routes, either going left through Retro Store, also considered as the meme route.
As it should be.
Meme route got 3rd place. And you could go up normally, like 90%. And since I don't know what Scotty's going to do, I assume he's also going to go up the elevator. This is pretty open from now on.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of different routes for early, either going to Wreck Ship or going straight to Kraid, so might see some little differences here and there.
Yeah, one thing we might also see a little bit difference off is which miners we decide to get. There are some miners that are easily accessible, but that just add up a little bit of time. So you might see me or Scotty skipping items on the way that the other one might get. Generally, rule of thumb, you want a lot of supers, because in these randomizers it's not really a given that you get charge beam at all during the siege. So you might have to do all the bosses chargeless, which requires a lot of ammunition. So supers are really good for that, since it's 300 damage per projectile instead of 100, which does a missile. Some bosses you get double damage by supers, which is 600 damage, which is just pretty insane. So yeah, a lot of supers is kind of what we're aiming for here. Our bomb packs, as long as we don't have bombs, do not run into any soft blocking issues. If you don't have bombs, when you're at Bomb Teresa, you can actually do the Bomb Teresa skip, which is otherwise task only or PAL.
Interesting thing about BT, if you have is it more than 4 missiles, you get the little sonic boom attacks.
Oh yeah.
So you try to stay under 5 missiles for that fight, which usually you only have 5, so, well, 0 because of that door,
Yeah.
but obviously because of
So
item randomizer we have more or less.
Yeah, that sonic boom attack is something you rarely ever see. Same goes for Gold Chorizo in the depths of Lower Warfare. Attack, in his case, it's when you have 30 or more, because obviously it's way later in the game. To clarify on a few memes that went around during the randomizer tournament a lot, basically reserve tanks, as we've already seen in the seed, are considered as trash tanks because they don't really hold any value. They kind of screw over your drop chances a lot, and they're just not really valuable.
Because of the very first item on the pedestal there being a reserve tank, it actually forces us to pick it up, so to awake Zibus.
Yeah, because otherwise the enemies will not spawn, and thus it's not possible for us to do the D-boost in the ceiling to get the absolutely unskippable item, Mothball.
But now we can skip them.
Yeah, speaking about drop rates being bad, oh my god. So for those pink doors, you need 5 missiles or 1 super to open them. And if you don't have full health and the reserve tanks come empty, you might get health from these guys instead of missiles, which screws over your ways to open these doors. Really want the missile drops. To go back on the routing, we kind of just want to go around the spots where major items are really dense. Gonna try to farm off item like areas as they come and as they go to just get as many majors as possible to get the required items to beat the game. The minimal finish the game with is 14% for humans. Miser seeds. A-style, I want to say it's like roughly about 30% what you finish with on average. And you want to get like both suits, charge beam, like either speed or ice. Pretty much seen on any seed. Things like high jump boots help a lot, space jump, all these things. Air seeds, you actually see runners finish without suits, but that cannot be required for the seed. I don't know, do you want to talk about like the general requirements, like what the randomizer can force onto you and what it cannot force onto you?
Oh man. I can't even think right now.
Okay, so if you've ever seen like an RBO run, for example, you know that you can do like all of Meridia suites, for example, and like all of Lower Warfare and Upper Warfare suitless. That is something that you can still do in Randomizer. Like none of the core mechanics have been changed, so all the tricks are still possible. It's just the Randomizer with this difficulty will never force you to do that. And force you to do is to either do half of Warfare, the upper half suitless, or to do the first half of Meridia suitless, but more cannot be forced, though sometimes it might be faster to do so. The thing that you might see happening, you might also not see happening is what's usually in the game is that Gravity Suit has like pretty much all attributes of Barrier Suit as well, except for the damage reduction at Rainbow Beam. This actually got changed in this randomizer. So Gravity pretty much only has the underwater physics change effect, and not the heat reduction change that the Barrier is supposed to give you. The reason for that is that in any other case, that would make Varia completely obsolete as long as you have Gravity. Be more required to get both suits just to make a little bit more even.
Yeah, Gravity Suit's definitely overpowered in vanilla, so.
Yeah. So one thing you could see on here, this is a blue gate. You're usually supposed to open this with a wave beam. shoot a super missile at a pixel, horizontally pixel perfect position with the right speed, you can actually shoot the super missile through the gate, allowing you to sequence break this.
Yeah, I'll be there in a second. I had low life, so I skipped it for now. I didn't want to die by the big side hopper since he does so much damage.
Yeah, these big side hoppers deal 80 damage, so it's actually pretty insane. Like we've seen some random runs in tournament titles for sure.
Oh yeah.
It's actually a neat trick, like what you can get with stuff you're not expected to have, or like stuff you're not expected to use to open certain stuff. Funny how broken this game is, even like on an NMG basis. So there are definitely, for this difficulty, there are a lot of speed tricks required for you to know if you want to beat the seed. There are harder versions of this specific randomizer. There's also an open mode, which completely out of mothball blockages, so you can do the majority of the seed without mothball, which is also pretty interesting.
Yeah, pretty much the whole thing except for Ridley.
Yeah.
Which obviously is in the depths of Lower Norfair, so.
One thing that is generally pretty important doing these item randomizers is your power bomb count. Because in most seeds you're not going to have bombs, which in vanilla is the third item or fourth item you can get. So you have to use power bombs as a substitute, and since they are limited, you really have to watch out how many power bombs you have at all time during the seed, because otherwise you may run into positions where you can actually soft block. And that has happened quite a few times. So as long as you don't have normal bombs, you want at least 10 power bombs. And if you want to do Turian without Ice Beam, without power bombs, you want 15, unless you might want to run into a big portion of backtracking there as well.
Nice. Got a pretty good little trick there. First try, of course. Every try.
We are pros. We get every single thing first try. Yeah, I'm not watching the stream. I'm not sure. Do you watch the stream? Do you have chat open?
I closed chat. I'm not watching the stream.
We don't want to spoil like too much what the other winner is doing, what items he already got. So if you have any questions, then we're sorry we cannot answer them. We try to go over as much as we can.
Hopefully there's some guys from our Super Metroid Discord or something that it can fill in if there are any questions.
Ross has been around. He's been pretty good this these as well. One thing I said earlier, there are like a ton of randomizers for Super Metroid. Randomizer, which has like 5 different difficulties. There's the traditional Desi randomizer. There's a randomizer that's even older than that one. Then there's the route randomizer, the door randomizer, the game with the most single randomizers. But this is still pretty insane. And they all offer like a completely different kind of fun, I want to say. So you can see me and being in the red tower area here, which is the red part of Brinstar here. We call that the red tower. That's probably like the most relevant routing decision you have to make for your run. Unlike like a Link to the Past randomizer where there's a lot of small route decisions you have to make, in Super Metroid it's kind of like very few very big decisions. Going up red tower, going down red tower is definitely the most relevant one, I would say. Going up red tower, especially if you have speed booster, allows you to, for like minimal backtracking. Something happens to be in direct ship. Then going down red tower integrates there and into north first. Offers the fastest overall route in which you're able to finish the game. So that's one decision. If both areas are kind of equally like, worth, then it can be a big factor for sure. The reason why speed for going up right tower to the wrecked ship is relevant is because there's one item, one major, which is in vanilla the wrecked ship reserve tank, which you can only get if you have speed booster. So you check what that item is, but you cannot get it unless you have speed. So if that's like the one suit you need, then that's pretty big because you need to backtrack all the way to this area, and it's pretty much at the far end of the wrecked ship. You have to go for like a 1 minute, like 40-second cutscene as well, so it's not really good having to backtrack just for this, just because you didn't have speed.
Yeah, the good part about going down Red Tower, obviously after you fight Kraid, is that once you get to Norfair, there's like 2 items right there in Norfair and then 3 items in Bubble Mountain area. So it's just, you get real heavy item density there.
Yeah, Upper Norfair is really stacked, whereas Wrecked Ship obviously has a boss, so you still need to go here. But other than that, it only has 4 majors here, and that was what I was talking about earlier. Like in the vanilla game, there are actually only 3 of the major items in here. So they actually swapped the right side supers of the wrecked ship with an E-tank in Upper Norfair. Because in the early version, when that was not the case, Upper Norfair early was just always the call, because the item density was just so insane, and the 3 items here in wrecked ship almost never paid off.
And it's probably not going to this time either.
We better safe than sorry. Another kind of downside about wrecked ship early is that you're supposed to have barrier suit in this area. Kind of deals an overproportional amount of damage. Not as bad as if you would do like Meridia without a suit, but still pretty bad. So like Phantom, for example, hits quite a lot. That's actually pretty good. We do save 2 saves, right? Just to make sure we don't die. Get it? Super awkward, smart.
Saves?
Dude, I don't. It's just for the marathon.
That's why there's 2 of us.
Alright. Okay. Yeah, fair enough. So, speaking about saving, like generally saving is slow. Just like in the vanilla speedruns, you won't see a lot of people saving. However, in some cases, it can actually make sense to save, check an item if it's like very far out of the way, instead over having to backtrack just to save yourself the backtrack, and that actually saves time. Like let's say if an item very far out of the way is just a reserve tank, and it doesn't give you anything, it can actually make sense just to reset back to that save. Of the hell if it took you to get there, and so strategical saves are a thing, even though they are kind of rare. If I would have to think about it, there are only like 3 tactical saves you can see in this. And of course, unlike in like Link to the Past, saving and quitting is like not a thing. Like if you save, all of the progress is lost. You cannot like fancily work with saves and resets. It's not a thing in this game. Right, or something that's extremely important to know. As I said earlier, you don't want to run out of ammo if you don't have charge, and out of power bombs if you don't have normal bombs. Enemy drops watch is pretty important.
Yeah, having bombs
Most
so early
areas,
just makes it so much less stressful.
You don't really realize how important bombs of an item are until you don't have them anymore. The only thing in randomizer.
I mean, unless the seed gives you Spring Ball, you know, and then it's just, you know, who cares?
Yeah, Spring Ball is Spring Ball is one of these memes that also came up. just an item you really only get like in categories that require you to go everywhere, like Hundo or Hundo map. Category where you would just itself out of the way. There's an insane amount of movement options. Like, it's a very fun item, and by some considered as the best item in the game.
Because
And
it is.
It actually has, yeah, I mean, yeah, it has a lot of sequence break potential. Like, you can do something that's called mid-air springball jump, which pretty much just gives you a jump mid-air in ball form, which does not sound like very broken, but in some areas it actually is.
Yeah, like
Especially if you don't
beginning
have
of
space jump
Suitless
yet,
Meridia
yeah,
pretty much breaks that whole first part of it.
exactly.
PogChamp is all I'm gonna say.
Really have anything to let me talk to Jen yet.
I guess you'll know where I am when you get there.
I guess. Alright, enough of this. Alright.
Wow, that's some really good D-boost. Kind of just doing that on the fly there. Worked out.
Randomizer is something where you can see like intuitive movement very well. Getting into rooms with combinations is and being able to maneuver through them quickly is something playing in randos, which is why you might not see like the top tier players of categories also being at the top of like randomizer tournaments. Like me and Scotty both don't have like perfect any percent times, and we both got really far into the tournament. Determined by luck, but also like routing and just like, I don't know, intuitive movement is pretty important, I want to say.
And luck.
Oh yeah, luck is pretty important.
Lots of luck.
Making mistakes is also pretty important.
Yeah, I mean, this is still Super Metroid. It's still super easy to die.
Yep.
Finishing
And,
runs, speed runs is
winner's
always
final.
impressive.
Dying is something that happens way too easy in this game. Just you blink, or you sneeze, and alright. So another thing is that you might notice me or Scotty skipping some items. Actually, not every item, like every major, can be every other major. So I think like especially suits are pretty heavily restricted. Like some, I think like criteria specifically, and all of Brinstar except for Waterway cannot be a suit. Maybe, like there are like Gauntlet, for example, cannot be suits. It could only be something like Charge Beam or Ice Beam. Which is still pretty good, but if you're looking for a suit, that would like not be the item you might be looking for. So going to these specific locations that you know will not have the most important key item, consider, because those those spots take a while to check, but they can pay off pretty bigly. An item that just speeds up the game a lot, like Charge Beam, Ice Beam, High Jump Boots eventually, all this stuff.
Yeah, so quick note for the later bit of the game, if we do not find Ice Beam, we actually need to be fast 15 power bombs in Torian. So that's the only way to kill Metroids if you don't have Ice Beam. You can do it with 10, but actually you can do it with 5, but it just takes forever. So
Metroids is they take 3 power bombs to get killed. Or rooms with Metroids, you have to use 12 power bombs minimum. Drop rates, like they are not too great to begin with for the Metroids, but if you kill them with power bombs instead of just like ice and ammo, they only give 1 drop instead of the usual 5. So getting all the power bombs you need is you have like a 40% chance.
I don't think it's happened for me.
We got it one set of like 5 tries. And with way worse. Low percent speed actually has to do that. Go into Tyrion with 5 power bombs and has a no reset Tyrion, so they could go powerful with only 5, but all the drops. So insane because the RNG is so good. Which is why it's not a fun. You really want those 50 power bombs. Because being in the last Metroid room and having to go back all the way through Tyrion and then coming back, it's just a huge time sink. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it, especially since Metroids don't respawn. Help you in the first place, but it's just you hit it or you don't hit it.
I think another. We talk about through bot win? What you need to get to there?
Oh yeah. I think not go over that.
Yeah, it's just well, not technically since there is the Crystal Flash clip, but
of course.
For us normal speedrunners that aren't god gamers, you need either speed booster or you can do an ice clip to get to the pre-bot win room, and it's pretty much required. So sometimes you'll not have those items and you'll have gravity suit and be like, oh, I'll just go take out Dragon real quick. Nope.
Yeah, and even if you have speed booster, the game might force you, the game might put gravity behind bot 2. So even if you have speed booster, you might still need to get ice beam just to get through there because you cannot use speed booster there. Like bombs. Notice I got bombs. I was using power bombs all the time.
I could have tried a really cool escape there with space jump, but I forgot about it. It's too late.
Yeah. So that's another thing. You gotta actually remember what you got. It's especially with and Spring Ball, you just forget about having them so quickly because you cannot see anyway. You just need to activate them to see the happen, which is pretty awkward. All right. So far, this is, in my opinion, a pretty mediocre seed. There have been worse, there have been better ones. There's like a 41-minute seed, 41-minute conclusion by Scotty here. He actually holds the world record for random. I think I have the second.
The old
40-minute. Yeah, right.
The old version. Not like you can't replicate that anymore.
Yeah. Allowed for the newer version, the one we're playing on is 2.8, whereas the old version was 2.7. The new version has a little bit item distribution, which makes free less C on average, seats less free on average. Still, 41 either way is a pretty impressive time, and seeing that we're already hitting the 30-minute mark.
Right.
It's not getting close to that, considering that the final area, which we cannot fast forward or skip in any way, 7 to 8 minutes.
So, doing something interesting here. which is probably going to get me killed, but I did just save, so we'll see.
Oh, something interesting.
I just realized it on the way, so.
This sounds cool.
Let's just say, for you, it would be first try every try.
Oh, okay.
But for
Okay.
me, maybe not.
So yeah, again, there are these tricks in the randomizer that you can do that are not required, but that just speed up the seed by quite a lot. The one example that comes to my mind right now is getting into lower warfare. There's a trick that you can do that's called lava dive. Considerably difficult with high jump boots, but you can actually do it without. And that's called a high jump lava dive, and it involves a very precise setup, getting iframes.
I just did it.
Well, GG.
While you're explaining it, wow.
To wall jump on spikes, which would otherwise damage you. And it's a pretty insane trick, but knowing it saves you a ton of time over not knowing it. You can check everything in upper warfare. Then you just have to backtrack out. You cannot finish really just because you high jump this lava dive. It would be quite a shame. Actually haven't done high jump this lava dive in a while.
Oh, first try. GGG. Oops.
Yeah, you turn around when you hit the flame to get knockback cancel, still get the iframes. Spikes, you have 1.5 seconds to wall jump up the spikes, because that's how long the iframes last. Because otherwise the spikes would knock you down because they deal damage themselves. It's a very precise trick, but get it first try. In like speedruns, like GT code, it actually doesn't save that much time. I think it's like 20 seconds, but still considerable.
Yep, but when you have no clue where high jump is, sometimes.
Yeah, that makes it different, of course. If you actually have to search for high jump. Alright, first try, GGG. First try, high jump is not that's good enough. The other thing is like.
Go ahead.
Another thing is that even if you can get into, there are still some other things that you might need to consider. Like space jump definitely helps out because there are rooms like worst room in the game and theater, which are still incredibly hard if you don't have high jump boots and no gravity too, because everything deals a ton of damage. So like only getting the entrance into lower warfare without high jump boots isn't enough to make it worth it. You still need to be able to maneuver through lower warfare without high jump boots pretty quickly, which can be difficult on its own.
I have to do a little backtracking here because I forgot something. Oh, okay. I think we got ourselves a raise, Ponk.
Oh, baby.
Because I was a little bit worried because of another suit location and how much better at suitless Meridia you are than me, but we don't have to worry about that.
Oh, nice. baby, those things deal a ton of damage.
Whoops. That was an awkward bomb spread. And it still worked.
So there are... I don't know, like if you want to get into Randomizer, you can do it casually, having a lot of fun. We still do these, oh baby, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's definitely
still do these randomizer
super
races
friendly
every once in
for
a while.
casual. And most of the
Like
tricks you
if-
need are pretty easy to learn. Just have to look it up, put the time in.
There are decent tutorials for most of the things. I want to say decent because I made a few of those myself, but if you're like on the Super Metroid Discord, you can always just, if we have a role for randomizer races, you can just ping that role, and then you got yourself a race if someone replies, which is pretty cool. Yeah, this is still like, even though people got kind of burned out of randomizer after the tournament, there's still a bunch of people interested in it. This looks fun, and you can always get people down for a race pretty much. Even run it on events like this once in a while. Oh my god, this room is so loud. So, little thing about Ridley. Beam combos, since super missiles deal twice as much damage as they usually do, namely 600. They still have a higher DPS than all your beams combined. I think a charge shot deals 900 damage. Second to loads if you're TAS and can do that thing perfectly. Have a 30 frame cooldown, so that's 1200 versus 900. Is significant. So after you have like all seats, all suits, charge beam, something to traverse, bot beam hall, you usually won't see people go out of the way for any extra, unless they want like a health refill from any tank, which is still pretty useful.
Yeah, there's actually a pretty good spot to stop at the energy tanks. If you stop at 7, you can do a stand-up glitch on Mother Brain, and that saves some time in her third phase.
Yeah, especially with all beams, you just have like 20 seconds.
Yeah, without Plasma Beam, it doesn't save that much time, but
Yeah.
with Plasma Beam, it's pretty good.
And considering that one item fanfare takes 7 seconds, you save like 20, plus you get the free health refill. Nice to keep collecting these tanks until you're at 7. After that, it gets kind of questionable if you should collect them just for the health refill, but worth it. It's always one of these things that you gotta consider in Super Metroid more than in most other speed games is safety over speed. Just because everything gets punished super quickly in this game.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not sure if Scotty found high jump.
I did not. I was about to comment on how much I hate having speed booster without high jump.
So the game expects you to have high jump before you have speed booster, and it actually makes for some really wonky movement physics. If you have like a look at the graph, like if you compare jump height to how many jump, if you press jump with speed booster and no high jump, if you press dash with speed booster and no high jump for like 10 frames, I think is already enough. You lose like half your jump height, which is pretty insane. Which is why you really gotta consider like, when do I press dash to go fast? When do I not press dash to just get any jump height? So this movement is pretty wonky, and you usually only see that in beats. Oh, that's pretty bad. Early, you always want to get that high jump because it just saves so much time in your like movements. Just this extra height is so important. I kind of wish we would have gotten could have shown off some microwaving. Well, then again, you might have X-ray.
I might.
So in this game, there's something that we came up with the name microwaving during the tournament. Plasma beam. Plasma beam, unlike all other beams, actually inflict piercing damage. So the gate absorbed by the enemy once it inflicts damage. So there's obviously iframe. So if you shoot an enemy with plasma beam, you're still only going to deal 1 times the damage. But the thing is, if you have X-ray and X-ray to the enemy
And plasma.
you can, the iframes of the enemy keep running down. So if you just buffer X-ray while the shot goes through the enemy, you can just keep inflicting the same damage with the same shot, which we call X-raying, because microwaving. You can actually kill like bosses like, I think, Bottoon, Dragon, and Phantoon are the bosses you can do that with.
I actually saw the metal pirates before Ridley. You
Oh, yeah,
can actually
metal pirates.
X-ray those too.
Like basically anything that doesn't absorb the shot. It's just like, you can just kill them in one shot, which is pretty insane. You just never see that in vanilla, because in vanilla you would never have a plasma beam before, which is the last boss you can do that with. But obviously in Randomizer that's different. If you know some major glitches, which are pretty fun in this game, you can also see that category that's called Rambo, or True Reverse Boss Order. That because you fight Dragon before like all the other foes. But you can actually still microwave them. It's pretty fun. But that's a little bit too long for this now. Oh man, I wish I would have had high jump.
Maybe it'll be right here. I can hope. No.
So obviously, this plasma beam is still gonna make Dragon a pretty quick fight. I'm not sure. I think Dragon has like 4,000 something HP, 3,500, something like that. And again, plasma beam dealing like 900 per shot is just a lot of damage. Unless you choose to do Shine Sparks, which are also pretty cool. But are pretty difficult to nail optimally if you don't have high jump boots.
I actually am going without plasma beam.
Wait, you don't have plasma?
Nope, didn't find it.
Alright. I'm not even sure where I found it. Actually, I know where I found it. Okay.
You'll be alright.
Yeah. I mean, I have like every beam. I think we have space, right?
Yeah. Let's just do this. If I don't die. Oh my goodness, please. Did you get the high jumpless happy?
I would have gotten it if I would have gone for it. I got like such a clean dash grab. I was kind of sad that that didn't give me anything.
I got a goop spark right at the very top.
Yeah, I think there was. I think someone did that during the tournament. I think it was Oats. It's happy. It was pretty sweet. It's like those funny things that don't even think high jump is happy saves anything if you have space jump.
No, probably not.
Animation takes so long.
All for the swag.
Yeah, the swag is extremely important. Fun and swag is probably the most important things when racing these. Number 3 would be the speed. So this is the Ponkfish. This fish in the tournament. It's the only red fish in the game, and I own the custody over this one. Others say that's not the case, but I officially won it by beating Steffi in the tournament.
Yeah,
so
it was legal.
spread out the words. That's my fish. All right. By the way, in case any of the organizers,
Probably shouldn't do this, but that's how you kill the punkfish right there, guys.
oh no. Scotty and me will finish way under estimates. 110 is like usually the for these seats. I think we'll both be under an hour just for you to be able to prepare on that.
Yeah, it should be about 10 minutes for both of us. Well, probably 8 minutes for you.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Unless something bad, very bad happens.
I mean,
you
I've died
very
to
well
Logan
could.
before in tournaments.
I died to Mother Brain in the Super Metroid
oh,
relay.
Yeah, that. Yeah.
Set me back so
Man,
far.
I felt so sad for you, but I mean, your team didn't really lose anything with that.
We got second place, so
I mean, you got second place with that.
still could have got first if I didn't suck. So you got best in category, and you got first place, right?
Yes, I got the best RBO time, and our team Firebats won the relay.
Yeah, GG for that, man. That's sick.
I mean, I felt like kind of dumb for getting the best time in RBO just because I got so many safeties that I needing, but RBO is just like you don't die and you get the best time, which I just did. But yeah, one thing you might notice here that's different, G4 statue isn't there. That was actually a change.
I got a really sick bounce ball just now. I got a bounce ball over the reserve tank in Terminator.
Yo,
It was like a blue bounce ball too.
wait, did you actually manage to skip that?
Yeah, I skipped it both times. The second
Oh,
time was
man.
on accident because I literally de-boosted off the. Whoops. Oh god.
I completely ran into it the first time. So yeah, what I was talking about earlier, like reserve tanks being trash. Reserve tank and Terminator is probably the worst, because you might be able to skip it the first time, but on the second visit you're almost likely to forget it, like Scotty just did, but say bounce ball. So save those 7 seconds over the entire run. GG on that.
I'll take it.
All the time saving that.
Alright. Good on ammo.
What's your ammo max, if I may ask that?
Do what?
Your ammo max count.
25, 45.
A lot of supers.
Yeah.
The baby skirt without high jump.
Yeah, I
is the
have
thing.
no idea how to do it without high jump.
Yeah, well, you can do it, but even if you do, it doesn't really save that much time. And high jump just limits your like not hitting high jump is. I honestly want to say high jump is more important than speed to some degree in terms of movement. Obviously, for tricks, high jump is less relevant, but it's definitely like high jump without speed is way better than speed without high jump, in my opinion. Honest with me on that.
So there are a few ways to do this Zeb skip coming up. We have Ice Beam, so we can do the easiest way.
Yeah, there are a few, like, I did something pretty unoptimal. I de-equipped Screw Attack to do like the very easy way, which lost me like the time of the menuing, but it's just really way easier. Something
Jeez, you have
that's also
Screw Attack too.
yeah.
I missed out on some stuff.
All right, so oh, Screw Attack was at Dragon.
Oh yeah, I skipped Dragon item.
Yeah, I just thought I might get it for high jump boots. But,
Did you check Bubble Mountain?
I only checked the upper. I only checked the reserve tank, which was.
Was that
Beam.
Plasma?
If you skip all of
I skipped everything. Yeah, I just went straight
That
to.
one item was it's really nice.
Well, have fun with your mother brain fight, because I'll be here for a while.
It's not that bad. It's only 60 shots versus 20 shots.
20.
Yeah. You do have all the beams except for plasma, don't you?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. See it.
Spazer and Wave was Kraid, so those are 2 guaranteed.
Oh, right. Yeah, there is that thing. What I'm doing right now, everyone who's ever seen like a Hundo run or an audio run, there's something called stand-up, which what's gonna happen is the baby's gonna show up right now and it's gonna force me into a crouch position. But by influencing my health in a very certain way so that it triggers the baby early during that cutscene, which is why the graphics kind of freaks out. Get crouch force, which there are only 2 frames for, so I can pretty easily avoid that. I can damage Mother Brain before I transition into the official third phase. A lot longer since I need to wait out this cutscene anyways. Looks pretty funky. But that was the second crouch block. But if I do this optimally, I only have to beam later, which saves me like all the 20 seconds. I'm already missing shots, but for Scotty, who doesn't have plasma beam, it's only going to save him like 8 or so, I think. Significant. Then again, you have to wait out this cutscene anyway, so it might as well damage. Only have to watch out to not get the baby stuck in the ceiling, which happens.
I've never got the baby stuck in the ceiling, but
I almost did that very tournament. So
I've definitely got soft locked here.
yeah.
Not with a baby stuck in the
Yeah.
ceiling.
We're gonna do the animal surprise?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Alright, so for anyone who's ever seen any marathon or speedrun or Super Metroid, knows that there is stopping and saving the animals, which teach you shine sparking and wall jumping in this game. And that's during the escape in the BTU, you can go out of your way during the escape and well, in the randomizer it's a little different. There's actually and instead of the animals, you can have 1 of 14 possible surprises, which we have no clue of. Like we cannot influence that when we created the seed. So it can be a lot of things. It could actually be vanilla animals. Again, 1 of 14 possible outcomes. We'll see what it is. Be hyped for some randomness right at the end. I say that now and I really hope it's not vanilla animals, just to not ruin like everything, as you said.
Yeah, you probably took how many shots for Mother Brain 3? Probably like 3 or 4.
Completely butchered it and need like 7.
Oh, well, it took me like 20 shots, or not like 20, but you know, a lot more than
that's
that.
raw damage making a difference there. I mean, overall, it probably doesn't make that much of a difference because the item can fail to pick it up. Oh wow, this is just, oh my god. Why did I even say something? No one's gonna use it. Alright, so in theory, there is something that's not vanilla.
Was it vanilla?
Yeah.
Wow.
Alright, either way. Okay. So that's Super Metroid item randomizer for you.
Let me stop the timer for you.
No, I got my own.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
I missed the Scotty's part. We'll try it again.
So just to give you a little teaser, that could be something like a boss fight or a warp to a different spot on Zebes, so that you still need to escape in time, like a bunch of craziness. It's nothing hard, like you don't need to fear to die there, but it's usually pretty funny.
Yeah, boss fights are
Especially when,
nice
like,
when you have the beam.
Yeah, it's usually pretty funny when we have people in Discord trying out the randomizer for the first time and they're all like, "Yo, there's a bug in the randomizer. I got teleported to Ridley." So that's a feature.
Be free, animals.
Thing about the randomizer, it actually shows you the item locations in the credits.
Oops.
We're gonna exactly see where Hydrogen Boots was.
Alright, done.
GG.
How far apart were we?
I got a 55:05, 06.
So a little over a minute.
Oh yeah.
Pretty nice
We actually beat the
race.
Scotty's point, so. I assume others are gonna take over from us after we got the DF4s and the credits going. What is even the next one? Okay, we
Pokemon.
got Pokemon Blue, Catch 'em All. That sounds pretty sick. Pokemon speedrunning, but
That's like the
sounds
super
cool.
glitchy run, isn't it?
I have no clue.
I'm pretty sure I've seen it before, and there's lots of stuff going on.
Is that with this glitched 000 Pokemon? Isn't that a thing?
You got me, man.
Oh, most important time in the entire randomizer, timeline indoors, 19 seconds.
Oh yeah, go ahead and cut the stream before you see mine.
It's actually pretty interesting. It shows you all these statistics, like how much time you spent indoors, and we spent like 12 minutes indoors alone. Yo, oh right, bombs were vanilla. I'm an idiot. I used power bombs all the way through the wrecked ship, even though I had to fight bomb turrets, and of course. Oh man.
All right. Well, I don't know when they're gonna cut us, so I'll just go ahead and thanks for the race, Ponk. Thanks for having us.
Oh yeah. Indeed, thanks for joining me. And yeah, you guys have fun with the marathon. So see you guys later.